A truck rolls slowly down a gravel road, and the sound alone is enough to stop Amy Fleming in her tracks. She has heard that engine before. She has heard it 1,000 times in her dreams. Her hands freeze on the fence rail. Her heart starts pounding so hard she can feel it in her throat. For years, she told herself she had moved on. She told herself the pain was behind her. But now, standing in the middle of Heartland, she is not so sure anymore. Because the man stepping out of that truck looks exactly like the one she thought she had lost forever. This is the moment every fan has been waiting for. This is the return of Ty Borden. The morning starts like any other day at Heartland. The sun rises slowly over the mountains, and the ranch begins to wake up. Horses move in the corral. Jack walks out with his coffee, checking on the animals like he has done for years. Amy is already in the barn, brushing down a horse, lost in her own thoughts. Her life has settled into a quiet routine. She works with the horses. She takes care of Lindy. She keeps herself busy so she does not have to think too much about the past. But anyone who knows her can see it in her eyes. There is a sadness she carries every single day. A part of her heart has never fully healed. Lou walks into the kitchen, holding an old envelope she found while cleaning out some boxes. Her face looks confused, almost worried. She calls out to Jack, asking if he has ever seen this handwriting before. Jack takes one look at it and goes quiet. His expression changes. He knows exactly whose handwriting this is. It is Ty's. The letter is old, maybe never sent, maybe hidden away on purpose. Lou hesitates before opening it, unsure if this is something the family should even be reading. But curiosity wins, and she carefully unfolds the paper. Inside, the words are simple but powerful. Ty writes about how much he misses Heartland. He writes about Amy, about Lindy, about the life he once had and the life he wishes he could return to. He does not explain why he left or where he has been all this time. The letter raises more questions than answers. Lou looks at Jack, and neither of them knows what to say. Should they tell Amy about this? Would it bring her hope? Or would it only open old wounds that have barely started to close? Meanwhile, out in town, someone spots a familiar face at the local diner. A man sitting alone, wearing a worn-out jacket, staring out the window like he is thinking hard about something. The waitress serving him pauses for a second, feeling like she has seen him somewhere before. She cannot quite place it, but something about him feels familiar. He pays quickly and leaves before anyone can ask him anything. Outside, he stands next to an old truck, staring down the road that leads toward Heartland. For a long moment, he does not move. It is like he is trying to build up the courage to finally go home. Back at the ranch, Amy finishes her chores and steps outside for a moment of quiet. She looks out at the land she has known her whole life, the fields, the fences, the mountains in the distance. This place holds every memory she has, both the happy ones and the painful ones. She takes a deep breath, trying to steady the strange feeling building inside her, like something is about to change. She has felt this way before, a feeling she cannot explain, like the air itself is different today. She shakes it off, telling herself it is nothing, and turns to walk back toward the barn. That is when she hears it. The sound of an engine, far off but getting closer. A truck, moving slow, coming up the long road toward Heartland. Amy stops walking. Something about that sound feels familiar in a way that makes her chest tighten. She turns to look, shielding her eyes from the sun, trying to see who it is. And for the first time in years, a small, fragile hope begins to rise inside her. Even though she is too afraid to admit it out loud, the truck keeps rolling closer, and every second feels longer than the last. Amy's feet feel stuck to the ground. Part of her wants to run toward the road, and another part of her wants to run away and hide in the barn. She has imagined this moment so many times before, in dreams, in quiet moments alone, even in the middle of ordinary days when she least expected it. But imagining something and actually living it are two very different things. Her breath gets shallow. Her mind races back to every memory she has tried to bury, every late night she spent wondering if he was ever coming back. Jack steps out of the house just in time to see the truck slowing down near the gate. He squints, trying to make sense of what he is seeing. At first he tells himself it cannot be true, that his eyes must be playing tricks on him. He has seen that old truck before, years ago, parked right in the same spot. His heart sinks and lifts at the same time, a strange mix of shock and disbelief. He glances over at Amy, who has not moved an inch, standing frozen like a statue near the barn door. Lou comes rushing out from the kitchen, the old letter still in her hand. She stops beside Jack, following his gaze toward the road. When she sees the truck, her mouth falls open. She looks down at the letter, then back at the truck, connecting the pieces in her mind. This is not a coincidence. Somehow, the man who wrote those words is now driving up the very road that leads to the front porch. Lou's hands begin to shake slightly as she folds the letter and tucks it into her pocket. Unsure if this is the right time to say anything at all, the truck finally comes to a stop at the edge of the driveway. For a moment, nothing happens. No one moves. The engine goes quiet, and the whole ranch seems to fall into a strange kind of silence, as if even the animals sense that something big is about to happen. Amy's heart is pounding so loud she swears everyone around her can hear it too. She grips the wooden fence beside her, trying to steady herself, trying to prepare for whatever comes next. The driver's door creaks open slowly. A boot steps down onto the gravel, followed by another. Amy cannot see his face yet. The sun is too bright, casting a shadow over him. But she does not need to see his face to know. She knows that walk. She knows the way he moves, the way he carries himself, even after all these years apart. Her whole body goes still, caught somewhere between fear and hope, unable to decide which feeling is stronger. Jack takes a step forward, ready to say something, anything, but the words catch in his throat. Lou reaches out and grabs his arm, silently telling him to wait, to let this moment unfold the way it needs to. This is not their moment to interrupt. This belongs to Amy. Whatever happens next, whatever is said or left unsaid, it has to come from her first. The man finally steps fully into the light, and for the first time in years, Amy sees his face clearly. Her breath catches. Tears immediately fill her eyes, blurring her vision, but she does not look away. It really is him. After everything, after all this time, after every sleepless night spent wondering, Ty Borden has finally come home. For a moment, time seems to stop completely. Amy stands frozen by the fence, staring at the men in front of her, unable to trust her own eyes. Her mind is racing, trying to process what her heart already knows. Ty looks older now, a little more tired, his face carrying signs of years spent far away from home. But his eyes are the same. Those same eyes that once made her feel safe, that once made her believe in second chances. She opens her mouth to speak, but no words come out. Everything she has wanted to say for years suddenly feels stuck somewhere deep inside her chest. Ty takes a slow step forward, his hands slightly raised, like he is approaching a wild horse that might bolt at any second. He knows this reunion will not be easy. He knows he cannot simply walk back into her life and expect everything to be fine. Too much time has passed. Too many questions remain unanswered. He clears his throat and finally speaks her name softly, almost like he is afraid saying it too loud might break the moment completely. Just hearing her name in his voice again sends a wave of emotion through Amy that she cannot hold back any longer. Tears spill down her cheeks before she even realizes she is crying. She takes a step back instead of forward, her body reacting faster than her mind can process. Confusion, anger, relief, and love all crash into her at the same time, and she does not know which feeling to trust. Why did he leave without a real explanation? Why did he stay away for so long without a single word? And why, after everything, does her heart still ache for him the way it did the very first day they met? Jack and Lou watch quietly from a distance, neither one daring to move closer. This is not their place to speak. This moment belongs only to Amy and Ty, two people whose story has always been complicated, filled with both deep love and painful loss. Lou squeezes Jack's hand gently, silently reminding him to stay patient, to let things unfold naturally. No matter how hard it is to stay silent, Ty finally closes the distance between them, stopping just a few feet away from Amy. He tells her he knows sorry is not enough. He tells her he does not expect her to forgive him right away, or maybe even at all. But he needed her to know the truth, that not a single day went by where he did not think about her, about Lindy, about the life they once shared together at Heartland. His voice cracks slightly as he speaks, revealing just how much this moment means to him as well. Amy wipes her tears with the back of her hand, trying to steady her breathing. Part of her wants to scream at him, to ask him why now, why after everything. Another part of her simply wants to fall into his arms and forget the years of pain in between. Caught between these two powerful feelings, she finally whispers the only words she can manage in that moment, asking him one simple question. Why are you really here, Ty? Ty takes a deep breath, like he has been waiting years for someone to finally ask him that question out loud. He looks down at the ground for a moment, gathering his thoughts, then looks back up and meets Amy's eyes directly. He tells her the truth is complicated, tangled up in choices he made out of fear rather than logic. He explains that after everything that happened, he convinced himself that staying away was somehow protecting her, protecting Lindy, even though deep down he knew it was really just protecting himself from facing the pain of losing what they had built together. Amy crosses her arms, still keeping some distance between them, though her body language has softened just slightly. She tells him that protecting someone does not mean disappearing without a word. It does not mean leaving a little girl to grow up wondering about her father. Her voice trembles, not from weakness, but from years of carrying a weight she never asked for. Ty nods slowly, accepting every word without arguing back, because he knows she is right. There is no excuse strong enough to erase the years they lost. Jack finally steps forward, unable to stay silent any longer. His voice is calm but firm as he asks Ty directly what his plans are now. Is he here to stay? Or is this another visit that ends with him disappearing again? The question hangs heavy in the air. Ty turns to face Jack, and for the first time, his expression shows real determination. He says he is not going anywhere this time. He says he came back to make things right, however long that takes. Even if it means starting from nothing and slowly rebuilding trust one day at a time. Lou watches the exchange carefully, her protective instincts kicking in as she thinks about her niece and the family they have worked so hard to hold together. She gently reminds everyone that this cannot be rushed. Trust broken over years does not repair itself in a single afternoon. Amy needs time. Lindy needs stability. And whatever Ty is offering, it has to be real, not just words spoken in an emotional moment. Amy finally speaks again, her voice steadier now, though her eyes are still shining with unshed tears. She tells Ty that she is not ready to promise anything. She is not ready to pretend the last few years did not happen, but she is willing to let him prove himself slowly, honestly, without expecting forgiveness to come easily. It is not a yes, and it is not a no. It is simply a door left slightly open, enough for a possibility to exist where there was none before. As the sun begins to set behind the mountains, casting a warm golden light across Heartland, the family stands together in a strange, uncertain silence. Nothing is fully resolved. Nothing is completely healed. But something has shifted, a small crack of hope breaking through years of pain. Amy glances toward the house, thinking of Lindy inside, and wonders how she will explain any of this to her daughter. As the episode draws to a close, one thing becomes clear. Ty Borden is back, and Heartland will never be quite the same again. The days that follow bring a strange kind of quiet to Heartland, the kind of quiet that comes right before something bigger begins. Ty does not push. He does not demand a place back in Amy's life or in Lindy's world overnight. Instead, he keeps his word, showing up each day, helping with small tasks around the ranch, staying close but never crossing the line Amy has carefully drawn between them. It is not easy for anyone. Old wounds do not disappear just because someone finally says sorry. But little by little, something begins to shift in the way the family looks at him. Amy watches him from a distance more than she talks to him directly. She notices the way he still knows exactly how to calm a nervous horse. She notices the patience in his voice, the same patience that once made her fall in love with him in the first place. But she also notices the years written across his face, the parts of his story he still has not fully explained. Trust is not something that can be rebuilt with a single conversation. It has to be earned again, moment by moment, day by day, Lindy, still too young to fully understand everything happening around her, becomes the quiet center of it all. Amy watches carefully how Ty interacts with her, searching for signs of whether this man truly plans to stay, or whether history is simply preparing to repeat itself. Every small moment between Ty and Lindy feels like it carries extra weight, like the family is holding its breath, waiting to see what kind of future is actually being built here. Jack and Lou continue keeping a careful eye on everything, offering support to Amy without pushing their own opinions too strongly. They know this is her decision to make, her heart to protect. Still, there are quiet conversations late at night, filled with worry, hope, and uncertainty about what Ty's return truly means for the family's future. Nobody wants to see Amy hurt again, but nobody wants to stand in the way of real healing either. If that is truly what this is, as the episode reaches its final moments, Amy finds herself standing alone by the fence once again, looking out at the same fields where this entire story began. Ty walks up slowly beside her, careful to keep a respectful distance. Neither of them speaks for a long moment, simply standing there together, surrounded by the quiet sounds of the ranch settling into evening. Finally, Amy breaks the silence, telling him softly that she is not making any promises, but she is willing to see where this goes. Ty nods, understanding completely, grateful for even this small chance. The episode ends with the camera pulling back slowly, showing the two of them standing side by side, not quite together, but no longer completely apart either. The sun sinks fully behind the mountains, painting the sky in deep shades of orange and purple. It is a moment full of uncertainty, but also full of quiet hope, setting the stage perfectly for everything still to come in the episodes ahead. Heartland has changed forever, and everyone watching knows this story is only just beginning.